On April 26, 1989, the video game developer Game Freak was founded by Satoshi Tajiri, Ken Sugimura, and Junichi Masuda. Except not really. Game Freak actually started its life as a self-published video game magazine in the early 1980s. Its name came from the pseudonym Tajiri used when contributing articles as a freelance writer to more well-established gaming publications like Famitsu. Game Freak existed as a magazine for a period of 4.5 years, starting in March of 1983 and running for 24 regular issues and a few special editions. Tajiri wrote and edited the text, and his friend Ken Sugimura soon began providing the illustrations and eventually became a regular contributor. The magazine was only a small product of Japanese sizable doujin culture, which is probably more famous for producing independent video games like the Toho series and Racketeer, but more than anything acted as a creative outlet for Tajiri's love of video games in the absence of formal programming knowledge or a developmental budget, both of which he later gained an abundance of. Game Freak wasn't always a second-party developer for Nintendo. Tajiri's interest in the industry predated the company's overwhelming control over the video game market after 1983 and began in the arcades with Taito's Space Invaders. From their humble beginnings, Tajiri believed video games had potential as an art form, and he expressed that belief in his own publication, praising the companies and individuals who made them. In the very first issue of Game Freak, his opening letter from the editor described an admiration for the rapid development of video games as a new medium, and a desire to follow and document that evolution. After the magazine's final issue was released, Tajiri and Sugimura established Game Freak Inc. as an independent game development company, with Junichi Masuda joining the team as its third co-founder. The three immediately began channeling their creative effort into a more fulfilling and potentially lucrative project. Tajiri wanted to create a game that would recreate his childhood pastime of collecting insects, but wasn't sure how to translate the rewarding feeling into digital form, despite Sugimura's wealth of concept art and Masuda's considerable composing ability. The catalyst for Tajiri's idea became apparent when he saw two kids playing a multiplayer Game Boy game, with the help of an item called a link cable, and realized that the potential gameplay built around exchanging data between a pair of cartridges wasn't tapped to its fullest extent. Initially, Nintendo didn't understand Tajiri's pitch for the project, which he originally dubbed as Capsule Monsters, but they did give him a kick in the right direction, which came in the form of some initial development funds, unused concept work from another studio's game, and possibly the best asset imaginable: the assignment of Shigeru Miyamoto himself to the project. Miyamoto and Tajiri were similar in many ways, with both men's respective childhoods influencing their future video game design endeavors. And over Pokemon Red and Green's extended development cycle, which was frequently interrupted when the team ran out of funds, Tajiri began to respect Miyamoto more and more as a mentor, even using his name as one of the default options for the player's rival character. After 6 years of hard work, which eventually became torturous for the few devoted staff members who remained by the end, Pocket Monsters Red and Green released on February 27, 1996 for the now 7-year-old Game Boy, and were instantly catapulted to the peak of popularity. Although releasing a game for outdated hardware would usually be considered business suicide, Pokemon's low skill threshold for new and younger players, combined with the relatively inexpensive hardware required to play it, propelled the series into ludicrous popularity in record time. The two generations combined managed to outsell the nearly ubiquitous Tetris by almost 10 million copies, despite the half-a-decade start. And to this day, their sequels continue to set their own ridiculous sales records for Nintendo's subsequent handheld systems. Game Freak's now well-respected staff have been directly involved in the series' development from the very beginning, with Sugimura drawing all of their official art, Masuda composing the music for every core game in the series, and Tajiri moving from his director role in the initial games to that of executive producer in the most recent titles. Pokemon is, in many ways, Satoshi Tajiri's own exploration of Shigeru Miyamoto's vision of The Legend of Zelda. It gave him an opportunity to share his own childhood with the world in a way that anyone would be able to understand. Pokemon has become the second most popular video game franchise in the world, next to Nintendo's own Mario series, and doesn't look to be surpassed anytime soon. Game Freak's stated philosophy is to give the people the world of enjoyment, fun, and discovery by continuously creating games of superior quality, and to encourage bravery, hope, kindness, dreams, and an adventurous spirit. Well, that's all we have for today for this episode, but come back next time and we'll see you again on another day in gaming history.